it's so hard to describe the feeling there. But I think once I entered my grade 12 year, I felt like I was at home.
I'm Glenn Herbert, and I'm an editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private schools to gain insights into their programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administrators. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
The thing I appreciated the most was definitely the focus not only on academics, but the focus on making a well-rounded person. So it also includes your mental state, your social, learning about leadership was a huge thing for me. Being sort of a person that gets their energy from people. I didn't realize that I had the leadership qualities that I did, so King's kind of brought that out. So I am, again, forever grateful for those things. It wasn't solely an academic focus, it was just kind of like, how can you be a better person? And King's helped me achieve that and realize that, that there are so many different aspects that you need to work on to be a good, well-rounded person. I think the teachers are so kind and compassionate. They cater to your needs, they listen. You're not just a number there like you would be in a big Catholic school. I know my Catholic school had about 1,200 people in it, where when I went to King's, there was under 30. People think about private school, they think about prestige and academics solely, and some sports, that sort of thing. But when you go to King's, it's not like that. It has a family feel, if that makes sense. Uh, I stayed in touch with my teachers and my principal all through my university career. And I think that other private schools don't really have that or can offer that family feel or that close-knit relationship that you have with your teachers. Like I remember in grade 11 math, I was able to text my teacher for help after hours, and he would be there to help me, no problem. And I think that's something, if any schools could, like no schools, if any, could offer that, which kind of separates them from the rest. Very, I would say, welcoming, kind, they're compassionate, understanding, no matter what you're really going through. They're there to go through it with you. If King's was a person or personified in one body. So like I said before, my entry into King's wasn't necessarily my decision. And going back to grade 10, I thought that moving away from my friends was a horrible thing. And I hated my parents for it at the time. So kind of, it really depends on your mindset going into the school. But I was very quick to realize that those people, the teachers there, are just there to help me, and want to help me and want to see me do well, where opposed to my other high school, I was just another student, right? They didn't really care how I did, where here it, it's so hard to describe the feeling there. But I think once I entered my grade 12 year, I felt like I was at home. Yeah, a lot of us were like-minded. Um, our families were all kind of like-minded. Of course, we all wanted to do well in school. But we all also wanted to become these well-rounded people that actually cared about the people around them, um, and their words and their actions, and being kind and being a good person. I think all of us kind of embodied those personality traits. So there is a kind of like a mantra that we follow. It's called KCM. So kindness, compassionate, mindfulness. And I think we try to instill that in every student that comes through the school. Um, so no matter what somebody's going through, no matter how good or how bad their grades are, it doesn't matter, uh, and none of that matters. It's still being kind and compassionate and mindful to anyone you meet and everyone you meet. Um, so I think those are the core values that King's uh, tries to instill in others and tries to promote. Um, Being a student there and now a teacher, I've kind of seen it from both sides. Um, and being someone that didn't necessarily or wasn't necessarily mindful when they came into the school, um, and being taught that, and then going into university and being non-judgmental and kind and compassionate, it really takes you a lot further than any academic really would, right? Being able to talk to people and understand what they're going through is so much more important than getting, in my opinion, than getting 100% on a test or whatever it may be, right? So now seeing it as a teacher and trying to instill it in the younger students that I'm teaching now, it's just it makes you feel like you're making a difference, no matter if you are being kind or if you're trying to teach people to be kind and mindful, to everyone around them. I think King's does a really awesome job in helping all of their graduates pick a program that is best suited for them and not just kind of like something that their parents wanted them to do, or something that they feel as though they can achieve. They're very realistic in letting you kind of pick that path yourself. They just kind of help you along the way. So I think they definitely helped me come to the realization that I actually love politics. And I didn't really know that when I first started at that school, but I couldn't be more grateful, because I loved my undergrad and I would go back in a second. Yes, 110%. I don't think I would be where I am, um, whether that was university. I don't even know if I would have gotten into university without King's. Um, but I definitely see the world different than I did in grade 10. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but um, just thinking about yourself and how big of a difference or impact you can make in somebody else's life is something that King's has taught me. And you can never aim too high, right? You can, and I never thought about that when I was younger or in grade 10, kind of going through that like teenager sort of year. And I think if I had stayed at my old school, I would maybe still be in that kind of mindset and I wouldn't see the world the way I see it now. Um, or be as accepting or patient, or as kind to other people for sure. Honestly, uh, speaking from the teacher point of view, the only thing I would want to change is to get more kids into the school because I think it's so important, the values that we teach. And I think it's so important to view the world as more than just your academics, even though those are important. I'm not trying to say academics aren't important, but I think that if we were able to reach more kids, I think we can make a bigger difference in our community. But in terms of being a student there, I would have grasped onto more leadership opportunities, and I would have um, encouraged my classmates to participate more. I think when we're in high school, we kind of think we're too cool for school. So participating in fundraisers and that sort of thing, some kids are kind of like, I would rather go play video games, or I'd rather go home and hang out with my friends or whatever. And I think looking back, I was kind of like that in grade 11. I kind of followed um, the friends I had kind of made in grade 11 and 12. Um, so I definitely would have, if I could tell myself, sorry, if I could tell my grade 11 self one thing, it would be to just go with the flow. Do what you want to do. Don't try to fit in because it's boring. And I think that's something I definitely kind of veered towards in grade 12. Yeah. I think I learned some pretty core values and um I don't want to say responsibilities, but some core values that I have just built up on as I've gotten older. Um, I remember being in university and kind of reciting what I had learned at King's to myself, and kind of reminding myself that I need to be mindful of other people. But it's also important to go talk to your prof, and it's also important to study, and it's just trying to compile all those things you learned and kind of organize them in a way that is beneficial to you. And I think from graduating from King's and now graduating from university and now working back at King's, I can see kids that were in my position. And I think I have a very special uh, perspective on that because I've been there and I know exactly what they're feeling. So I can kind of give more insight to those kids than a teacher that has just come from the outside. I personally think, for one, it will change your outlook on other people in the world for the better. Two, uh, even though I've kind of put it on the back burner, academics are super important, and King's helps you achieve whatever goal you may have. So if you want to do all the maths and all the sciences in grade 12, they're like, all right, buckle up, let's do it, no problem. Um, so they help you achieve your academic goals, and it doesn't even feel like learning, really. It's more fun, right? Because you get to develop those relationships with your teachers and such. And three, some of my friends that I made at King's, I am still very, very, very close to. So the relationships there that you make never really go away. They are solid, um, grounded friendships that you will have forever, I think, because of the like-mindedness. And this also goes for teachers as well. Like I said, I kept in touch with all of my teachers after I graduated, and I even attended some of their fundraising events when I was in university. And I just couldn't get enough. I had to keep coming back, and now I work there. So it's kind of crazy to think that those were all formed, or it's all thanks to my relationships with the teachers and the principal and my friends that I made during my time there. That's kind of like shaped me onto this path that I, again, couldn't be more grateful for. If you are looking for a place that cares about not only your child's academics, but also their all-round, I wanna say health, social, mental, physical, King's is the place for that. Take a deep breath. It's gonna be a lot to take in, but as long as you go with the flow and you keep your mind open, you are going to have the best time.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.